Welcome to another Selma Sun Center Stage. Today we have with us the Honorable Sheriff Mike Granthum.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for joining us today again.
Thank you for allowing me.
How you
Appreciate
been?
it.
How you
doing
doing?
good. Just staying busy.
Good.
Doing good.
Good.
Doing good.
So I wanted to talk to you about things going on at the Sheriff's Department. You make a good point. We are in the month of October.
Yes, sir.
And that means it's Halloween time. So what can you tell us that we need to watch out for and think about?
You know, I want kids to enjoy it because this is tradition. I enjoyed it when I was a little
Right,
kid.
yeah.
But now we have this nasty drug out on the street called fentanyl. And I don't want to ruin it for
Yeah.
anybody. And people have seen it. It's been on the news. I mean, and people think fentanyl may look like a little powder like cocaine or something, but it's not. I mean, it can be disguised. I mean, we've seen it look like sweet tarts.
Really?
Colored Skittles. And,
Oh, Lord.
and the reason why they do that, to make different colors and stuff, is to target a younger age.
Right.
Kind of like the cigarette packs. They'll put a camel on it.
Oh, right,
Something like that.
yeah.
But to target a younger age. But fentanyl can be in anything. They can lace fentanyl with, cocaine, crack, marijuana. There's even some places around up north that we've seen where people would place fentanyl on a dollar bill and they would leave it out, just pure evil. They would leave it on the ground and people would touch it and pick it up, put it in their pocket, and it's absorbed through your skin.
Oh, really?
It's 100,000 times. I mean, that's a high number, but it's 100 times more potent than heroin or morphine.
Really?
It's unbelievable. It only takes a little bit, but
I knew it was serious, but I didn't realize
bad.
you literally by touching
you
it,
can touch it. It can absorb through your skin.
Wow.
We've had officers that actually have responded to calls, and thank goodness not in our area because we're ahead of the game. We bought the gloves and stuff to handle stuff
right.
like that. And another thing you got to worry about is first responders. If people overdose on it and go to
yeah.
CPR, if they have some lodged in their throat or on their mouth, you actually could inhale that fentanyl. And now
Inhale?
you could actually inhale it. When I say inhale it, say for instance they have some of the powdery substance on their lips or
Yeah,
on their throat,
right.
and they gurgitate or whatever, and something happens to get on you, now you're contaminated.
Right.
So it's not only bad for the person who's taking it, not only bad for the police, but it's bad for the medics that have to respond. So it's a scary, scary drug, and and I want people to enjoy trick or treat, but I just wish there was an alternative, and I hope parents check the candy real well if it's not wrapped in a package from a facility or something. No homemade goods, please do not ingest any homemade goods. And not saying it's going to happen here, but you can't be too safe.
Right.
Because once you take it, we have Narcan and stuff like that we can reverse it, but sometimes it's too late before we get there, before we can reverse it. And it's being found all over. And people say, oh, a small town like Selma, it's not here. Let me tell you, it's here. We've made fentanyl arrests, we made fentanyl busts, we've recovered fentanyl.
Wow.
Yeah, I had an incident where inmates was receiving mail at the Dallas County Jail, and there was a funny looking substance on one of the envelopes, and one of the letters that was inside of it, and we tested it, and it was fentanyl. It was fentanyl. So, and the way we did away with the mail system now is that inmates still get mail, but we have a scanner. We scan it, then they can go to the telephone. It has a little screen on it, and they can read their mail off the telephone, just to make sure that the inmates don't come in contact or the officers don't come in contact with fentanyl. But I mean, it's a scary drug. It's a powerful drug, and you really don't know you're getting it. You really, and I'm not giving a warning to drug dealers by any means or drug users, but say for instance, if you don't pay your drug bill, and you go buy dope from the dope man, he's going to put fentanyl in your substance to retaliate against you. So you better think about it if you're using those drugs.
So they're using this as a weapon?
They're using it as a weapon, yeah.
Wow.
Yes, they're using it as a weapon.
So people use it to ingest to get high,
That's
but
right.
I guess
And
in
it's
certain
deadly.
amounts.
I mean, it's a matter of minutes and you're dead.
Really?
I mean, it's that bad if you ingest enough. Now, when I say amount, I'm talking about size of a pinhead. That's all it takes.
Oh, no.
It's that potent. It's
Why would
unbelievable.
people want to do that?
I don't know.
Why do people want to ingest anything like that?
And I hear where it's coming from, and of course this is research, and this is above me, but it's coming from the DEA, ATF, that type organization. They say that China actually, it's a synthetic drug, what it is. It is man-made. They say that China actually has the chemicals, but they're sending it down to Mexico, and they're actually fabricating the product itself. You can take fentanyl and say you're doing just a type of pill, some type of pain pill, and people have pill presses. So it starts off as powder. You mix that powder up with a little bit of fentanyl. You put it in a pill press, and it has a lot of pressure, and it forms that pill.
Yeah.
So now you got a fentanyl laced tablet that you think you're getting a regular drug, and it's not. So it's very dangerous. But getting back to the Halloween thing, I hate to put a damper on it, but it would hurt me worse to see a kid overdose on fentanyl.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
please guys, if the house don't have a light on, don't go to that house because they're not open for trick-or-treating. And please don't disturb the public at 10 o'clock at night. I mean, trick-or-treating should end. I mean, when we were little, we trick-or-treat 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Oh, yeah, we did.
I mean, we had ghosts on the porch and people
It's a
sitting
whole
in the
different
chair.
world back
Yeah,
then.
but
though.
now it's a different
Yeah.
story. You can't do that. So I just want people to know and realize that it is out there, and just because it looks like a Skittle or looks like a sweet tart or something, it may not be.
Yeah.
So make sure if that package is torn open or a homemade product, please don't ingest it, throw it away. Or if you suspect it, call the sheriff's office and we'll come and test it and make double sure.
I guess the best thing would be one of those trunk or treat type things.
That's right. That's right.
A lot of churches and organizations.
And we have a lot of them. I know Elkdale does a big one.
Yeah,
Some
Elkdale
other
does a
ones.
huge one
They do
every
a huge
year.
one. And it's
so.
good. It's
Yeah.
really good. And and I'm not saying anybody at Elkdale's bad, but I mean we got bad people everywhere.
That's
we have bad
true.
cops, we have bad
Yeah.
lawyers. So if the package is opened, don't consume it.
Right.
Don't even touch it. Call us if you're suspicious of it, and we'll test it. We don't mind.
What other things are going on that you might want to talk about?
We're staying busy. We have enforced we have some areas where some burglaries are starting to pick up.
Oh, really?
So I'm very fortunate as far as our county commission. They gave me enough overtime. We have made several arrests in the last week in the Burnsville area and the Plantersville area.
Oh, wow.
So we've
Okay.
had some burglaries up there, property crimes, which, and I will say this, and I don't like to say it, and I don't like to sit here and say that property crime or crime in general is down, because if you've lived here for 20 years and you've never been burglarized and you have a burglary, guess what? Crime's not down for you.
Down for you,
It's
right?
not
Exactly.
down,
That's
it's
the
not
point.
down for you. So I don't like to say that, but overall, I mean, I encourage people, it's called UCR, Uniform Crime Report, and the feds do it, the federal government does it, and we report all crimes to them, and they actually have a site you can go to, and you can look at our crime stats, and it's unbelievable that, and I'm saying it's not me, believe me, it's the guys and girls that work at the sheriff's office that's busting their tail. Our crime stats are unbelievable compared to they were before we took office. They weren't bad before we took office. I mean, they're worse. One crime's too bad. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm not trying to make a light of any crime, but I want you to compare what it was 4 years ago, compare how it is now in the county, in our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And the numbers are unbelievable. And a lot of it has to do with not necessarily our officers doing their job. It's that the public are sick and tired of it. I mean,
Right.
they're
Yeah.
giving us information. People are tired of their house getting broken into. People are tired. They work hard. I mean, it's hard now to keep your lights on. I mean,
Exactly.
and pay your bills. And if you do get a little extra and you buy a lawnmower or whatever and you steal it, I mean, that could cause some problems for some people. And people
Sure.
are sick and tired of it, so we're starting to get more information. They're starting to trust us a lot more. And we've always had a good working relationship with the public, but now it's unbelievable. I would like to say my detectives and my investigators are that good, but they're not. They take no investigator is. I mean, I've worked investigations for 20 years.
And they're humans.
And it takes the public.
Yeah.
It takes the public. I mean, the public sees it. They know what's going on.
It's got to be a team
They know
kind
who
of
the
effort
bad
for
guys
everybody.
are.
Yeah.
And the thing that bothers me the most in our community, what we have, they'll have a 14 or 15-year-old child they may have in their house, and they bring home a 72-inch TV. I mean, and they don't have a job. I mean, that TV's
Yeah.
stolen.
Does that not raise an
But
eyebrow?
mom and dad,
Yeah.
or mom and dad, mom and grandmother, whoever the guardian is, allows
my
it.
kid would never
allows
do
it. Oh,
that.
no,
Yeah.
no. And they're sitting there watching the TV. You'd be surprised how many houses we go to that we have a minor that don't have a job, that's supposed to be in school, that's a burglary suspect, and all the stuff's in the house, stereo, TV, everything.
And mom and dad
are
just turn
sitting there
blind eye.
watching it. So, I mean, that hurts your heart. So, I mean, I know it's hard. I mean, it's called tough love, and tough love is the best. But if your kids are doing something, so let's stop it now, because that's just the bottom line of what it could lead to. I mean, burglaries turn to robberies, robberies turn to armed robberies, armed robberies turn to murder. Kind of like the drug thing.
Certainly,
You start
yeah.
with marijuana, then it ends up with,
Right.
it's more potent drug, this, that, and next thing you know, it's fentanyl. So, stop it. I mean, it's hard. I know it's your child. There's going to be some repercussions behind it, but you could save his life or her life.
And other people's lives as
Yeah.
well. That whole bunch of
Another thing that we're doing,
Golly.
a lot of people, I take a hit for this. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's fine. I got thick skin, so it's okay. I got thick skin. We're one of the few sheriff's departments in the whole state that works traffic. We have radars in every one of our cars now.
Oh, really?
We do. And the reason why we did that, and we have certain highways where these students have to travel. 22 is bad going to Dallas County
Right.
High School.
Yeah.
14 is bad going,
Yes.
going to the mill or what have you. These kids are flying up and down these roads, and there's not a year that goes by that I can remember that we didn't have the death. We haven't had a car wreck with somebody dying.
Right.
And so, it's a stat you really can't see. Yeah, you can see, we wrote 15 tickets yesterday, but out of those 15 tickets, how many lives did we save? You really
Right.
don't know because nothing happened.
Right.
And we're not doing it
Yeah,
for punishment.
nothing happened yet, so,
nothing happened yet. And a lot of times if they're minors, 16, 17 years old, going to school, what we like to do, or what we try to do, we'll call the parent, give them opportunity, because guess who's going to pay that ticket? That child's not paying the ticket. You're actually punishing
Yes,
mom
exactly.
and dad. So we'll call mom and dad and ask them will they come and get the child. If they come get the child, we'll work it out with them with a ticket. Now, if they say no, whatever, we're going to give that child a ticket. Because, I mean, we're trying to teach the child a lesson to slow down, not necessarily punish them.
Right.
But, if we call you and you don't come get your child, we're going to throw the book at them. We're going to write them tickets. So we're giving them the opportunity. And I want people to know that, to slow down. Because, I mean, these kids going to school and going to IP or wherever they're going, Prattville to work, Montgomery to work, we run radar. I don't have a single car. Valley Grand gave us a little grant and was able to buy some. Orville gave us a grant. The county commission bought us some. And we have radars in every single car. So that's a plus. A lot of sheriffs now won't write tickets.
No, that's true.
You don't write tickets. And I asked them, when I first become a sheriff, I asked them at the first conference I went to, I said, how come deputies don't work traffic?
Yeah.
I had an old-time sheriff tell me from another county, he said, that costs you vote. Every ticket you write costs you vote. Don't work traffic in your area. I said, I'm sorry. I'm law enforcement. If I can save a life, I'm going to work it. And we actually did a survey, and they asked, how many of y'all work traffic in your area? And there's very few sheriffs that raised their hand. I wasn't the only one, but there was only a handful.
Well, I'm going to have to tell my kids that don't listen to what I said before. I used to say sheriffs don't stop you. So I'm serious though.
That's true. A lot of people thought that.
But that is true, and I have heard that before.
And another thing,
don't worry about a sheriff department. Just worry about the police and the troopers.
That's true. And that's
so now that's not true.
When I grew up, that's how it was.
Yeah.
Now a lot of counties are still like that. I tell you another thing that we do that the other sheriff didn't do, and Selma has this, you have a police jurisdiction, and the way the jurisdiction works, you have the city limits of Selma.
Yeah.
Then 3 miles, the way a crow flies, 3 miles all the way outside the outside the city limits is called the police jurisdiction.
Right.
So to give you an example, say if you're going toward Montgomery, we actually don't pick up. We being the sheriff's office, our jurisdiction doesn't start to the Budweiser plant. That gives you about how 3 miles is.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example. Say you're going 14 toward Prattville. We don't actually pick up to County Road 306, right past the jail. You know where the white fence is at, the pretty white fence.
Sure.
We actually don't pick up to right there. Just giving you an example.
Right.
But that's how it works. But a thing that we get a lot of calls on and people are surprised, and the city of Selma needs some help as far as law enforcement goes. They're down on number. So you'll see our guys in the city limits writing tickets, helping them out, doing whatever we have to do to make the city safe as well. Now, a lot of times, a county stays in the county and the city stays in the city. Yeah. But
I have noticed.
We're all in it together, and you'll see our county cars. You're in the city limits, you can't write a ticket. Yeah, the city of Selma is in Dallas County, so we can.
Right.
So, and then a city police officer can't actually write a ticket in the county. They don't have jurisdiction.
Right.
So, I mean, but the county
technically, the
Selma is in Dallas
the county, which is your jurisdiction.
Kind of like Orville is their own city, Valley Grand is their own city, but they're in Dallas County. So we can assist on that. Now, we don't like to do a whole lot as far as the criminal aspect goes because you got different courts. Like all of our courts is handled through circuit and district court. Yeah. And they have a municipal court. So we don't want to overflood our courts with the city stuff. Right. But our judges are.
You don't want to step on toes either. Right. I mean, that's their.
Yeah, and we have a good working relationship with the chief. Chief Fulford's a good guy, and we understand they're low on numbers, which they're getting higher now. So we're a lot less in the city, but when they need assistance, we're there. And the same for us. If we ever need them, they're there for us. So it's a good partnership. And
that is a good partnership.
It hadn't always been like that.
Yeah, that is good to have because that helps the crime rate all over, and helps people when they need help.
Yeah. And right now we're going through a lot of stuff. I mean, you hear the city arguing about the budget this, the budget that.
Yeah, right.
I just want to, while we're here, I just want to take my hat off to the county commission and our probate judge. We had no problem. I went to 2 work sessions to get my budget passed. And I will tell you this, I got 6 cars. I asked for 6 cars, I got 6 cars.
Wow.
I asked for some extra patrol money, I got extra patrol money. I asked for extra deputy or 2, I was granted that. So we have a pattern, and maybe next year I won't be able to do that, but the funds were there now, and our county commission takes law enforcement very seriously, and they know how important it is to help the community build. I mean, if you don't have education and law enforcement, nobody's coming. There's no manufacturer coming. If you got crime, who's going to buy a house?
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got to have those 2, and our county commission sees that. Now, I don't go in there, asking for crazy stuff. I'm not going to go in there and ask. I mean, you see a lot of sheriffs riding around these 70,000 F-250s. I know better to go in there and ask for an F-250. I got an old, truck with 100-something thousand miles on it. I mean, we got some police cars with 300,000 miles on it. Right. 6 will help us. And we made a verbal agreement several years ago with another probate judge, and this is the verbal agreement, and they've held it. Every 2 years we get 6 cars. Is it enough? Absolutely not. It's not. Yeah. But that's what we asked for. So maybe if next time I ask for 8, maybe I might get 8, but I'm not going to push the limit because right now I have a pistol permit. I have a pistol permit fund still, and I was able to buy 7 or 8 in the last 4 years. Now they're all used vehicles. I buy used trucks, and my investigators are in those. And while we're on the pistol permit, come January the 1st,
Yes.
In state of Alabama, you no longer have to have a pistol permit.
For concealed carry.
For concealed carry.
Right.
And I'm not too happy about that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Now, I'm all about the Second Amendment. I believe people should have a right to
Right.
carry a gun, but we need restrictions on who can carry these guns. And that's one way to prevent a bad guy from getting it. Now, a lot of people say, well, a bad guy's not going to go get a permit. That's true. That's true. But when you don't have a permit out there, more people have access to guns. And you may have a sane person that's totally legal and never had a pistol permit, so I'm not going to have a gun. Now that he can just go get a gun and he gets mad or upset or whatever, there's more access to guns. There's going to be more guns out there. So I don't know. We're going to wait to see how it's going to turn out. I know it's going to hurt our revenue. The state has put a little bit of money to the side for that purpose.
Right.
And a small county like us, we don't profit much at all from the pistol permit. Now, you got like Birmingham and Mobile. There's no telling, in Montgomery, there's no telling how many pistol permits they sell.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at millions of dollars probably, but not us. I mean, it's just a small amount, but it does help, buy bulletproof vests. It helps buy paper at the office. It helps, supplement what the county commission. Yeah. And I talk with them, and they're willing to help once we get the stats of how much it goes down next year to increase my budget a little bit. But come January the 1st, you no longer have to have a permit. But I encourage people to still get one because if you're traveling and you go to Georgia or Florida, you better have that permit.
Right, because not every state is an open carry state.
There's very few states.
Constitutional carry.
Constitutional, that's right. Now we have been, a lot of people, I'm glad you brought that up, a lot of people don't know the difference between the constitutional carry, is what some people call it. It's open carry is what it is. We have been an open carry state for years.
Right.
For years and years. And when people say, what is open carry? Open carry means if you're not a convicted felon. Now, convicted felon is out of the picture total. You can't have a gun.
Wouldn't they be out of the picture even for
the pistol permit?
But they're out of.
They can't have a gun. Period.
Can't. So if you're a convicted felon,
stay away from the gun.
Even after January 1st, you have a gun. You're still illegal.
That's right. Okay. That's right.
So there is still some control.
That's right. There's still a little control on that. But like the open carry law is that you don't have to be in law enforcement. You can walk down Broad Street just like me.
Right.
And that open carry means just that.
Open.
You've got to be open.
People got to be able to see it.
That's right. And a concealed carry permit means that you have a right to conceal it. You can put it on your hip, but you must conceal it with a jacket or something.
Right. Now, and that's another distinction. Concealed carry means it must be concealed.
That's right. It has to be. Now, what people make a big mistake is when they get in a vehicle. And
there's the big,
That's people make a big mistake in the open carry law. Once you're in that vehicle, you got a roof over you, that is considered concealed.
Right.
But there is a way to get by with that. You can carry open carry in a vehicle, and why you would do this, I have no idea because it's useless. The law says it has to be in the furthest most compartment, which is going to be your trunk.
Right.
It has to be unloaded. The bullets have to be separate from the gun.
Yeah.
The gun has to be in a secure lock box, so anybody can put it in a box and lock it. But then the key is it has to be secured. So if you got a brand new, which I don't have, but if you got a brand new Mercedes or Lexus or something, a $100,000 car, you got to screw that box into that trunk. It has to be a secure box.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if you didn't have to do that, what good is having a pistol or anything? What are you going to do? Say, hold on, time out, bad guy. Let me go to my trunk, unlock it, unlock the box, load the gun, and then you got, there's ways to get around the open carry, but I just want people to know, come January, you don't have to have a permit to carry a gun.
And then even in your car, you can have it however you want. Yeah.
Now, you never had to have a permit actually for your home protection.
Right.
Unless you're a convicted felon now, you cannot.
And
a lot of people don't know this. Say, for instance, and I'm going to make my wife the bad guy. I'm not going to be the bad guy in this scenario. Say, for instance, if my wife is a convicted felon.
Right.
And I'm totally clean. I'm law enforcement, whatever. I'm totally clean. I have no felony convictions, but I have a gun in my house. She can't be in that house with that gun. She can't be around a gun, period.
Oh, no.
So that's how that works, and a lot of people get caught up in that, too. They say, oh, it's not mine. I don't have it, but you're around it. You can't even be in the car with a gun.
You're serious?
So be careful. So
that means I'm going to have to get a divorce.
Huh? Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding.
You know what?
Sorry, honey.
I can hear people now saying, you said your wife was a felon. No, she's not.
No, she's not.
I just wanted her to be the bad guy.
Yeah, right.
But the laws, people need to stay up on date. And now we do have what they call reciprocal states that once you do get our permit, they will accept our permit. Now, not all states are going to accept Alabama's permit. Like, we don't accept all states' permits.
Right.
So you have to be real careful. Say, for instance...
And all that information is online. You can go online and find all that information.
And I encourage people, now we do have the sheet, but I encourage people before you leave, if you do have a gun, get online and see, because the laws change all the time. You may not be notified of it. So be careful of other states. Yeah, I'm up to date on Alabama law, but I'm not sure what Tennessee's doing right now with their legislators. So you got to be careful. Yeah. But say, for instance, you're going to New York or North Carolina, Virginia, or whatever. If you do have a gun and you got a pistol permit and you're traveling to a state that takes our pistol permit, but you got to go through a state that doesn't, you're kind of stuck in a bind. So what we do, we have people do it all the time. They come to your local sheriff's office, go to the sheriff's office and say, look, I'm traveling to New York, so I'm in North Carolina. I'm traveling to New York. You don't take Alabama's permit. I want to check this gun in. So they'll check it into the evidence room. They'll give you a receipt for it. Leave that gun there. Go up to New York. Of course, you can't have a gun in New York. Not supposed to, but we got killings all the time up there. It's like Chicago too.
Yeah,
they got some of the strongest
gun
laws and got the most
worst
murders.
Yeah.
So I mean, how's this really going to affect us? Nobody really knows. But you check that gun in that local sheriff's office, and on your way back, you check the gun out and go. And so you're not going to have a gun up there, but you got a gun for most of your trips, especially people that vacation in RVs and stuff like that. So I've yet to run across a sheriff that wouldn't take somebody else's gun and check it in just for protection. But that's pretty much what we got going on, just a little information going out. I appreciate all the help. Holiday season's coming up. And now I do want to make people aware, I mean, it's a proven fact. Summertime, when kids get out of school, burglaries go up, crime goes up, no ifs, ands, and buts about it. The truth's the truth. During the holiday season, a lot of people want to shop in your house instead of Walmart. So be vigilant.
We'll do a whole nother thing on that here coming up to
be
give people some ideas.
About, like if you buy a big TV, don't put the box on the outside because they know what you got. You know, and another thing while we're talking about some security stuff, a thing that people don't realize, Facebook can be a good tool to use, but it's also terrible. Now, one thing I've seen, women are real happy when they get that beautiful engagement ring or that beautiful diamond. They want to take a picture of it and show everybody. A lot of times they're in the living room and you see a 72-inch TV behind you. Or they're in their bedroom, you got a jewelry box that's open that's got $10,000 worth of jewelry there. So be careful when you take these pictures and put them on Facebook. Be real careful.
And you know another thing? Is when people say, hey, I'm going on vacation.
Yes, and that's a big one.
Well, great. That means you're not home.
And then they're sending pictures while they're on vacation at the beach. You know, okay, you're not at home. Funerals are real big. You'd be surprised how many burgers, and it's sad to say. People will look, and we haven't had this in a while, but we had a string of it at one time. It's been several years ago. They would look at the obituaries and find out when a funeral is. And they know that family, and they know people are going to be gone.
Wow.
And we've actually been hired, off-duty officers have been hired to sit at families' houses during funerals, just so they won't break into the house.
I'll be darned.
And you know, it's
That's
not
a sad
just Selma.
state that somebody would, you know.
It's not just Selma. I mean, it's everywhere.
Enough,
So, you know, and everything's amplified in Selma. But overall, I mean, as far as the county goes, we're in good shape. I'm not going to sit here and say we can't improve, because we can always improve.
Always room for improvement,
we're
no matter
human
what.
just like everybody else. We're going to make mistakes just like everybody else. But, you know, be patient with us. We're doing the best we can do, and it's working. I do take a hit a lot of times saying I'm being too tough on crime, which is the craziest, most absurd thing.
Too tough on crime?
It's the craziest thing I ever heard.
Yeah, that is.
The laws, I don't make the law. I mean, I took an oath of office to defend the law and support the law, and I've never made a law. So if you're on the book and it's a law, you're gonna have to face the consequences. You know?
And there's a process to change the law if you don't like it.
That's right. But you know, I don't make the law and he's doing this, he's doing that. It's on the books. I'm going to enforce it, and that's the only way to make our community. And we have zero tolerance for the meth and the fentanyl. I mean, drugs, we're zero tolerance.
That's excellent.
Marijuana is a little different. I could see marijuana coming legal, and I would say, just an estimate, and I'm not educated on it by any means or anything. I can just see the trend in other states. I would say within the next 5 years, marijuana will be legal in the state of Alabama, not just medical marijuana.
Oh,
and that's
not just medical.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Now it's always, and you already seen, we're doing the medical marijuana. That's starting.
Yeah,
that's starting, and you've always seen when they legalize marijuana, the first step is getting the medical marijuana legalized.
Yeah.
So Alabama's the process of doing all that kind of stuff, and then next comes, it's usually a year or two after the medical marijuana. Then the legalization of marijuana goes. We've had one sheriff in Alabama. He don't have the power to do this. What made him think he had the power to do it? He thought he could make marijuana legal in his jurisdiction. And there's a sheriff. I mean, he actually tried that. So you got a lot of push from other people that's trying to make it legal. You know, I mean, there's studies out there. People say there's studies that say marijuana helps this, helps that. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Yeah. Then you got some people saying there's not a conclusive study that says marijuana does that. So who knows? I mean, I will tell you this, like I'm not a doctor, like I said. I've tested people for marijuana, and I've tested people for drunk driving. That drunk can't stand up, and that marijuana smoker could. So, I mean, that marijuana smoker could talk to me. That drunk done TT'd all over himself and can't talk, spit coming out of the side of his mouth and everything else. So, I mean, what affects you the worst? I mean, I don't want to ride with either one of them, but if I had to ride with one, I think I'd take the marijuana smoke. But who knows? But never had that situation. But I appreciate what y'all do.
Thank you. I appreciate what you do. And you were talking about bad guys a minute ago. Do you have any punks of the month that you want to talk about?
I will look at it and knock on wood. I hope we don't have any.
Yeah.
But there's not one I can think of. We had a string of burglaries, and we were able to solve that. We had a break-in at Dallas County High School where they broke into the concession stand where the school
some
makes
Snickers?
M&M's, peanuts, and hot dogs, and all that kind of stuff. Which I mean, it's funny to us, and it sounds minor, but that's the way the kids. That's the way the kids get band equipment. That's the way they get uniforms, and you're stealing from their kids.
Yeah,
and we were able to solve that, and that's the one I wanted to profile because that's a true punk that does something like
right.
that. I mean, why would you steal from our children? Why would you steal? Period. But from our kids that are trying to get education, and when you're dumb Fanny, you probably didn't stay in school to get your education, or didn't get your GED, or even trying to get there, and you're the ones that's breaking into stuff. So I mean, but anyway, so I will look for one, and we'll see what we can come up with.
All right, that's good. Maybe next time
we always got one.
We'll have a fun one next time. We'll talk more. Let's do another one too. We'll talk more about the pistol stuff because it's getting close, and the holiday stuff.
That'll be good.
Thank you, sir. I sure enjoyed talking to you.
Appreciate you very much.
Again.
Hope I didn't talk too much. And too fast.
You never talk too much. It's just right.
Shut up.
Thanks for joining us for Center Stage. We're going to do it again soon, so be watching.